People are shocked after a new rumor came out about Jennie sleeping with a billionaire. People are now dragging V into this conversation, and then we have JHope's concept film coming out and what this is about. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave, decided let's get into it. The label recently released a little concept video that showed JHope is about to release a concept film. This is very cool, and this is a sort of a new way of how people like to market their music. I don't particularly think this is a bad way of promoting music, but I don't fully understand how this gets sales or helps. It's not like the film is going to be aired in theaters where it's going to be on a brand new platform to be promoted in. But perhaps they might even decide to sell the film and put it behind a paywall, and that could help. Although, of course, I will definitely hope that it would be free for at least a little while so we could all enjoy it for free and watch it. Now, the concept little teaser that they released showed very artsy shots of JHope and a girl. It showed JHope looking at other girls and that sort of stuff. So we know that the vibe is going to be him with a girl. And of course, with that said, the songs that are going to be used in this concept film are Sweet Dreams with Miguel, Mona Lisa, and Killin It Girl. So all romantic songs, all kind of slower, more R&B, very sexy type of music. So I think the concept film is also going to bring it all together, and these songs obviously have a vision and a visual to it already, but this is going to kind of bring it all together and hopefully give it a new light. For some of the concept teasers that we are seeing, there is a girl that is very visible as she is the lead, and a lot of people are asking who she is and all that stuff. And normally this would be totally fine, but I fear for this girl and if she is going to get attacked, and whether she is an actress or someone who is up and coming, they don't deserve to be attacked for being in a film. Some of the scenes are definitely being a lot more sexualized, as you can see, and you can definitely understand why people might do that. We are seeing shadows of a person, we are seeing silhouettes, and we are seeing a lot of light and contrast. So it's supposed to look a lot more bedroomy, romantic, and that sort of stuff. And then of course, if there's a woman involved in that, it's going to make people feel angry at that woman, I suppose. But let's keep our anger afloat, or obey. I don't know what the right saying for this is, but let's keep it not active, and let's realize that this is a fictional thing, and likely he is not going to be dating someone that he is working with. This is an interesting concept that I think a lot of people don't fully grasp because they're not in this experience, which is that most of us probably end up dating someone that we meet in our day-to-day life or meet at our job. But that is not necessarily the case for a celebrity, because they meet so many people on any given day, and they meet so many different people at different events. There's so many opportunities for them to meet people, but for them to date on set, it would be considered really unprofessional. So they likely wouldn't risk them being unprofessional, and they could just date anywhere. But there are many things that are happening on the internet right now, and one of those things is, of course, Jennie from BLACKPINK, allegedly having a sex tape with a billionaire. I want to give a little bit of context here before getting into it fully, as I know what it's like to be on the other end of people who hate you and saying that you said something or you did something wrong. So what is the actual backlash that is going on with this, and what provoked this crazy rumor that we are about to talk about? There's this podcast that addresses Kpop conspiracy theories, and they were talking about some of the dark stuff that happens within the community. One of them being the fact that Kpop fans are often part of slave contracts, and the label pretty much dictates what they can do and can't do. If you build around this world and you kind of flesh it out to whatever you want to think, you can kind of assume that you can probably go a lot darker than this, right? If they're signed to a slave contract and they have no say, do they have a say in how they sell their bodies to people, right? And that's kind of the direction that this podcast or conspiracy theory was going in. The example that they used was with IU too, where they said that someone can go to the label and pay $500 a night to spend a night with any top K-pop idol if they wanted. Then this podcast went into the fact that there was this girl that he was friends with, one of the hosts, that Jennie had a tape sleeping with the BMW Heir. So the podcaster didn't actually see the tape and could not confirm that, but this is one of those things where it's passed on to like several different people. And to me, this is interesting because I don't want to pile on and hate or attack, and I hope this isn't coming across as an attack, maybe more so an explanation of what seems to be the issue or a learning experience, right? But maybe just even talking about it can be an attack. I don't know. Because as I said, I am very skilled and knowledgeable at getting backlash all the time. What I will say is something that I do often is if I talk about a rumor and if it's from someone that is well known, I simply won't say their name. I'll say that it's a well-known K-pop star that was paid for, let's say, right? Blah, blah, blah. And that it's a rumor, and I'll say that. But specifying a name is to add to the shock factor to the commentary. If you don't list the name, then people aren't going to be able to connect it to anything, and they're going to think, oh wow, I can't believe that happens in the industry as a whole, and then move on. But if you say a name like Jennie, it definitely makes it a lot more shocking, and a lot of people are going to have something to cling on to. Now, naturally, people are going to clip things and take it out of context. That is going to happen on how social media works, right? And how podcasts work. Sometimes things that you give context to will be taken out of context, right? Even if it's just supposed to be a conspiracy theory or whatever. It's really not going to matter when people clip it out, right? Because that's what they're going to do. That's just what it is. At this point, it doesn't really matter that it's just more so a conspiracy theory that you're addressing, but even just maybe dropping a name can be very dangerous in general. And I will say without a shadow of a doubt that I don't believe that this is real. Like, I do believe it is to be a literal conspiracy theory. The BLACKPINK girls, their production, wealth, and all that stuff seem to have accumulated alongside their fame. It doesn't always happen like that, where money comes alongside fame, but it seemed to have happened with that. When the girls first started out, they had pretty good music videos, I would say. Production was pretty good, but it wasn't the same as the music video productions that they're doing now, where it's clear the music video that they're doing now likely costs millions of dollars. So if the girls were being used as sexual favors for these billionaires, then I would imagine that their music videos would be how they are now. But if these favors were happening a few years ago, then the label would have likely put that money back into the artist, right? I would assume. Of course, when I get to the obvious, which is the fact that obviously this is illegal. However, a lot of people like to say things like money can buy them out of prison and things like that. This is true to a certain extent, but this is stuff that likely would get you exposed eventually, just like all of these things eventually do get exposed. And the fact of the matter is, we haven't seen any case of this at all, so I don't know if this is actually true at all. Also, do you think a billionaire has trouble getting girls and hot girls? Like, that's not going to be an issue for them. This then got a lot more interesting as V was then dragged into this situation, as people were saying that if Jennie has this type of behavior, then V, obviously being someone who allegedly formerly dated her, might also believe in doing stuff like this, with even a photo coming out with the fake caption saying he would like to be a porn star when he grows up. First of all, I want to say that I think it's so messed up that people insult the adult industry like this. I can understand to a certain degree why, obviously, but some of these people who are insulting the industry are people who watch that content. And if you're going to watch and enjoy that type of content, why are you insulting it? I know some people who are pretty sweet and kind that are in the adult industry, and this is a really conflicting feeling that they have all the time, where the people that love them and support them are also the ones that insult them. And of course, still sit there and watch their videos. And I'm not saying that V is part of that industry at all, but I'm saying, why is this being used as part of an insult when I don't think it is an insult to be in any industry? Now, do I think this is interesting because even though the rumors haven't been confirmed yet, it's not 100% true that Jennie did this. In fact, I don't think it's true at all. But us not even knowing the truth yet, we're already dragging V into this conversation. It's very strange. And as I said earlier, I don't even believe Jennie should be dragged into this conversation in the beginning at all. So the fact that V is getting dragged into it is absolutely crazy. And it's just, I'm over it, right? I think that it's absolutely wild to me that something like this gets so big, and this is no shade to the podcast or anything like that, but it's clearly not a huge podcast, right? It's not like one that has millions of followers and millions of listeners a month. So it's a little shocking that it got this type of attention just over something that they said, right? Funny enough, I don't think people will actually ever clip my videos and use it as an attack against me. They have never done that, and I would actually love it if people could clip parts of my videos and circulate it online, because some of the clips that would be circulated, I think would actually be really helpful to hear for people, and where it's like me sitting down actually debunking and breaking down these rumors and stuff. Now, I want to emphasize that I have nothing against this podcast. Nothing. I think they make really great content, and overall the stuff that they talk about is fairly important. But I will say that when addressing really dark topics like this, and topics that could be not only extremely controversial, but really dark to the idols and make the idols appear very different to the public, to just not say their name, right? You can avoid this drama altogether. Clearly, this is something that bothers the podcasters, right? Which is why they issued an apology, and they basically said that they had no intention to cause any of this or to hurt Jennie in any way. And I believe that. I don't believe that they are going out of their way to attack any specific person. Most people who make content just want to make content. They have no intention of actually actively hurting anyone. But all you can do at this point is issue an apology, and all you can do at this point is to continue on and see what happens from that point on. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos, linked down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.